Hello, 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 my gorgeous Taurus friends. Welcome to your forecast for 2024. I'm gonna start by giving you a little bit of a insight into my practice and how this is conducted. What is this for? So just to start, okay, this is perfect for you if your sun sign is Taurus, which basically means you go around telling people, I'm a Taurus. If you don't know details about, astrological charts and complexities like that, don't worry about it. If you're a Taurus, you're a Taurus. This is perfect for you. This is for you, my friend. If you are a little more advanced and you know your placements, okay, and you're not a sun sign Taurus, but let's say you are a Venus Taurus, like me, or you are a Moon Taurus, also like me, or any other placement basically that applies to you, go ahead and take a watch if it resonates, and just kind of see what areas these messages may be more applicable to. So I'm recording this live on Facebook. This is a Facebook Live exclusive. You may see this video on other platforms of mine, but just know that I prefer to do my live recording usually on Facebook. So if you're not following me on here, then go ahead and do that. That's the best way to stay in touch with my content and my offers and things like that. A little bit of an insight into how I conduct my psychic practice. Psychic ethics are a big consideration for me. I am someone who doesn't practice or consider or how do I say this? Believe in, it's a good way to say it, in fortune telling. So to me, my take on it is we do get to co-create our reality, our life's journey with the forces that be, the powers that be. We do have capacity to grow and change and evolve and transform, which, if you ask me, is kind of the point of being human. So, if everything was written in the stars already and someone could just tell you your future, then, why be born? That's just kind of how I look at it. I think that you are in charge of the future that you desire to create for yourself. And I think every human being has the power and the ability to adjust the course of their life, especially if their life is not going in the way that they really prefer, right? So, and that's the beauty of it. That's the power of it. So I'm not going to be predicting anyone's future here. I also believe, however, and this is where things get exciting, that in every present now moment, we have access to information and insights and wisdom that can help us heal the past, and that can also help us course correct and make adjustments to the way that we are proceeding into the future. So my practice, my psychic readings are always focused on what can we access in the now and how can you use it to your advantage. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. I'm going to start with some tarot cards. I'm going to pull some oracle cards. This is an extended reading, so whenever you're watching it, relax, sit back, enjoy. There is no rush. We're going to get into all of it. There is something else as well, which is linked here or anywhere in the description, below the video, above the video, wherever you're seeing this. There is a way to work with me one-on-one in 2024. It is a considerable investment. There is a price on it currently that will change on January 1st. I'm going to talk about it more towards the end, but this is a way to work with me for the entire year in 2024, where we get to touch base and talk, and I get to read for you and give you insights and, provide some laser coaching on any aspects that you want to focus on for every one of the 13 moon cycles, which in every year there are 13 moon cycles. So every one of the 13 moon cycles, and then we also spend an entire day together putting in motion the 2024 that you desire for yourself, doing some shamanic healing work, doing some channeling, divination, doing some planning, and some coaching as needed. So it's a great opportunity. I'm very excited about it. It's a gift for me to offer this, and it's a gift that I think would be quite a luxury to give to yourself if that resonates with you. So we're going to get started with the tarot cards. I want to make a little note. I did feel like I wanted to kind of dress up, but then I thought, you know, if I were to channel the energy of Taurus, what would that be? And I immediately thought it's being comfortable. So I'm wearing my robe. It's luxury. So I'm wearing not just a robe, I'm wearing my Versace robe. And then I thought, you know, I really love playing with makeup, but I thought, you know, one of the things that Taurus represents to me, it's this natural beauty. It's this feminine energy, that beautiful, natural, magnetic, perfectly imperfect, this irresistible vibe that just being alive itself gives us as human beings. And to me, that's the sign of Taurus really embodies it. So I am in my Taurus vibe, and on this note, we are getting started with the tarot cards. I'm so excited, you guys. My friend Sky is here. Sky, it's so good to see you. I'm so excited that you're here. So I do consider reversals in my readings. If you are familiar with tarot is my leading modality. I've been practicing it for nearly a decade at this point, and working with clients professionally as a psychic for nearly 5 years. And tarot is a language. It's like every card is like a word in a story, or a paragraph or a chapter. And so as we see these cards emerge, they fall together into this storyline. And once we explore the storyline, we can kind of see the trajectory of where we're headed and what is available for us to consider or adjust at this time. So let's see. So I'm getting 4 cards from the tarot for my Taurus friends. Okay, so the first one is 2 of Wands. Okay, so this is like exploring new horizons. I'm just going to do like a brief overview, and then we're going to get deeper into the messages. But this is exploring new horizons and considering investing into things that are maybe not in your closest proximity. Like, for example, you know, if you always, you know, so let's say, for example, if you're a business owner, right, you may have always worked with the same type of person, like as your, you know, whatever part of your business you would outsource to. Let's say like a graphic designer or maybe an accountant, right? And this card, it has a little bit of an implication of like, are there maybe people that are better equipped to serve me on this new level? So what I'm getting also is you're entering the 2024 from a new level, definitely above where you started in 2023. But also it's almost like it kind of snuck up on you. It snuck up on you in the sense that as you prepare to you know, carry out your work, carry out your mission, just, you know, carry out your living, you know, there is this new level that you didn't even realize that you stepped into. And now you're kind of finding out that the services, the things, the routes, the places you went, the brands you would associate with, the people you hired, like, it's just not quite meeting your standards, or it's not meeting these higher expectations that are coming from this kind of new level that you're on. So very exciting. This card represents expansion as well, and it represents risks, taking risks. Risks that you, maybe they're not major, but they're significant enough and they're important enough to where you can't really avoid considering them anymore. So we're moving on to card number 2 for my Taurus friends. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Stacy's here, my friend. Hi, so good to see you. So the second card here is the 4 of Swords. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm seeing the mirror reflection. I'm like, that's not the right number for it. Yes, but the 4 of Swords. Yeah, so this card, let's just take a quick look at the imagery here. It's almost like a sleeping beauty, right? That character seems to be deeply resting, conserving energy, but he's the same color as the bed he's laying on, okay? And that sword. It's almost like being, so in tarot, swords represent mental energy. They represent air, the element of air, and mental processes, thoughts, consciousness. So when we see this this character here laying on this bed, and the sword is kind of embedded in it, and they're all the same color, so they almost like all blend in together. It's, this represents being one with your mind. So this message on a higher, on a more like esoteric level, it represents no longer having, or not getting, how do I put this, gaining ground with your mental processes and your how you are physically, how you are living, right? How you are when you're conscious, when you're awake. There's enough synchronicity where you don't experience this sensation of like your mind says one thing but your body says another. Like, this can be a case of getting rid of some habits that were draining your energy, or getting rid of some of this kind of internal conflict where it's like, I know I should do this thing, but I really want to do that thing. I know that thing's not good for me, and that thing is, but I just can't, pull myself into the right direction. Like, that inner struggle is now resolved. So there is this oneness with the mental processes where there's harmony, in the way that you want to live, and in the way that is best for you to live. So there's this kind of harmony, there's this unity. Within your emotions and your mind. Amy, my friend Amy's here. Hi, Amy. It's so good to see you. So, Taurus. So on the more, like I said, on the more esoteric scale, it's this unity of the mind and the heart. On the more, let's say, down to earth scale, like, what does this actually mean? This is the time to conserve your energy. And I'm not really talking about 2024 in general. I'm talking about kind of entering into it. So this feels like there is a little bit of a time connotation to this message, where this is kind of how you're stepping into the year. But this card, it always has like a next chapter that is like, it's implied. That's the way that I would say it. It's implied. Like, what are you resting for? There is always this awakening. There is always this, how do I say this? Life is constant change. The only thing in life that is constant is change. There is another truth, which goes, if you're not growing, you are dying. So, not to get super grim here, but there is always this implied progression, that there is more. There's more to learn, there's more ways to grow, there's more ways to evolve. So when we see something that implies this kind of state of rest, the implication is also that there is something coming that you will need this conserved energy for. So there is not much internal conflict. There is not much push and pull. And there is this kind of feeling like, I should really fill my own cup. I should really take this time to recalibrate. You may be going into the year feeling very drawn to, possibly even invest more financial resources into your health, into your wellness. Maybe typically, you're interested in learning new things, or, improving your professional capacity, or, just expanding your skill sets, right? In the beginning of 2024, you may feel like you would rather invest in a personal coach, or you would rather invest in something that improves your lifestyle or your living environment. Maybe it's home renovations. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's health. Maybe it's a nutritionist, or a fitness mentor. Whatever it is, it's more about filling your own cup. It's not about how can I better serve others. It's more about how can I show up for myself. And you know what, you guys, this is perfect. I want you to honor it, because like I said, implied within this card is this this notion that something's coming, like you will need this energy for something significant. And so just do your best to have as much of this inner resource available to you. As much as you can fill your own cup, you should fill it till it overflows, and probably keep filling it even after that, because that will come in very, very handy. Okay, so let's look at the next one. That's 2. We have 2 more of the tarot. Amy said, I've missed you. I've missed you too. I feel like I haven't seen you in a very long time. So perfect. Okay, so this is an interesting one. We have the 3 of Pentacles. Okay, so you guys, yeah, that's probably that something that is coming. Okay, this is a very, very mystical card, Taurus. Like, extremely. And it has to do with the material, the matter, which is your element, the earth. Okay, that's why I'm wearing my yellow, is it, I think it's citrine. I think it is. Yes. Okay, so what is this about? All right, let's take a look. First of all, we see this man, right, this character, working on some type of construction, architectural something's going on. He's building something, okay? And then we have look at these 2 characters though, okay? There's one with this cape, right? Very interesting. Showing some kind of a plan or some kind of a map or like a blueprint, right? And then we have this other man who looks almost like a member of the clergy, in a sense. Okay, so this card has very profound meaning that is often revealed well past the time that you actually receive the message. So what it is about, you will discover individually. Like, what is this specifically talking about? And I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to be a little bit later in the year as it gets started. So you're going in, you're refueling, you're recharging, you are taking care of you, you are your own priority. It's as it should be. It's perfect. If there's any like guilt around it, or like, oh, I shouldn't be focusing so much on me, like, just set it aside, because this is actually going to serve you really well. And then this happens, and then this thing starts coming together, and it's not just you doing it. There's other parties involved. So on the esoteric level, okay, on the kind of higher spiritual level, this message, it implies working on something that is going to be your legacy, but it's beyond that. You are working on something that is the legacy of humanity. So it's not driven by self. It's not driven by, I want to do this thing. I want to write this book, and I want to make this, I don't know, I want to build this house, right? It's not really on, it's not like that. It's not about what you want. It's not about what you even came up with, but it is coming through you. That's a very important notion. So you are basically being a channel through which this creation comes together. You are the one building it. You are the one manifesting it. You are the one bringing this vision down into the physical reality. That is you. But who are these other characters? These other characters just show up at the right time. They are not, that's also not random, but it's like you get these connections. Maybe it's the connections you've had before that never kind of surfaced in this light, or you never even considered that you may be collaborating, or you may be getting guidance from them, or they may be investing in you. Like, who knows the actual, like the actions that will occur. But these people, they show up right on time. It's like you get this vision, you're like, I didn't even consider it, I didn't come up with it, like, but it feels really important. And then it's like, you know, we all get a choice. In some cases, it's a little more obscure than that, but I believe when it comes to actually physically or materially creating anything, wherever you get the idea from, there is this consent, there is this decision that is required. And, I'll demonstrate this by a very simple principle that I'm sure you've met a lot of people in your life that have amazing ideas. I know I have. And you know what? They will talk about their ideas all day long, and it's fascinating. And it's like, whoa, that would be so cool if you made that. Like, wow, oh my God, that is so awesome. Right? And then not necessarily everyone who has a lot of great ideas ever do anything about them. Or maybe not all of the ideas, maybe just some, right? And so this decision, like, yeah, okay, it's coming through me. Yeah, I consent. I'm going with this. That's on you. But once you say, yeah, this is big. I didn't foresee it, but here it comes. I guess I do have what it takes to I mean, at least I can do my best to bring it into existence. And it aligns with the legacy that I want to create in this world. That is a very important addition to the message. It's like, this is not just something that would be great for everyone. I want my name to be associated with it. Like, I am doing this. I'm not doing this because I came up with it. It's coming to me. It's coming through me. But I'm down and I'm going with this because I do want this to be part of my legacy as well on this planet. And then it's like, you make that decision, you back it by this movement, right? It's not like you have to do a lot of busy work. It's like, you may immediately know what step to take. It's just there. It's available to you, right? So you start taking the steps. You're acting in alignment with the vision because you're on board, you're full on, you said yes. And then these people, they appear, these resources, these connections that you were like, where's this coming from? Or where have you been before? I've known you for so long. I never even knew you did that, right? But they're there and they're like, I feel like I know why I'm here without even knowing why I'm here. And I'm here to support that vision that you're bringing into existence. So this is major. Taurus, I feel like this 2024 is going to be a very significant year for you. If you consent and if you decide, like, I'm doing this, right? But again, you have a choice. So maybe you get this big vision, big idea, and you say, you know what? I don't know. And that's fine too. But for those of you who are like, I've been waiting for something like this. I feel like I've been preparing for something like this. I don't know what it is yet, but I've been doing the work, and like, honestly, like, I'm down. Like, let's go. Yeah, I want to build my legacy. It's just the timing right now. It's 6:55 my time, and then there's 5 viewers. So I just saw these 555. I work a lot with angel numbers. I don't talk about it often because the level that I work with them on is it's almost like unbelievable. The moment I think something, I encounter them. It happens daily. It happens so often that if I were to talk about it, I'd be talking about it all day. So angel numbers are very close to me, and numerology as well. And so to me, 5 represents change, welcome change. Sometimes change that is a little oof. Am I even ready for this, right? Like, am I even ready for this? But are we ever really ready? I'll pull the last of the tarot cards, but before I do that, I'll bring this little anecdote from my work with ayahuasca, and it was over this current year where I'm recording the reading, 2023, when during one of the ceremonies that I've attended a total of I believe 27 at this point. Over the span of like 5 years. And so during that one ceremony, there was this moment where I was contemplating in the state, very, very kind of open state, very, a state that is not normal, right? Not regular consciousness. And I was contemplating the concept of readiness. Like, I'm not ready, but like, I can say this for the rest of my life. I'm not ready. Cause like, I'm not ever really ready for the thing that comes. Cause I've never experienced it before. Like, when are we ever ready? And I had this incredible lesson. It's quite complex, but I'll just give you the highlight of it. Through this medicine work, through the ayahuasca consciousness. And the lesson was, you are ready when you say you're ready. It doesn't mean that you feel ready, though. So like, you can become ready by saying, okay, I'm ready. And you may not ever feel it. But once you say it, once you claim it, once you decide, you are. It's fact. So this is exactly what it is. It's like, wow, this vision is so big. It could be my legacy. And I don't even know how I would even do it. And it's like, do you say, okay, I'm ready? And you may not feel ready, but then you are. Or do you say, I'm not ready? And that's a choice. Okay, so the final card, we have the Temperance. All right. So Taurus, this tells me a lot of things. This tells me that you've done the up and down. You've explored the scales of polarity. What does that mean? You've explored the one and the opposite in a lot of retrospects that apply to life. Pleasure, pain, love, hate, cold, hot, I can go on, but like anything that has this polarity, anything that is one and then there's the opposite, you've experienced a lot of this, abundance and lack. Essentially anything that has that polarity, anything that has that very strong duality is on the same scale. It's like the same thing, and you can feel the degree of how cold it is. And once it starts getting warm, you don't feel cold at all. You just feel the degree of how hot it is, right? But it's still the same scale, because where does cold end and where does hot begin exactly, right? And and as you progress up and down, it's all just a scale. If you're feeling strong emotions for someone, you may have experienced this in relationships. I know I certainly have, where it's like one minute you're like, oh my God, I love this person. I'm like, I love them so much. And then they do something, you're like, I freaking hate them right now. And then you're like, no, I love them, right? But you wouldn't feel either way if you were indifferent. You wouldn't hate or love or have any of this, sliding up and down the scale if you just were indifferent. So this is the scale, right? It's that flow from one cup into another. These polarities, these dualities, they flow into each other. And so you've experienced a lot of these polarities. You've experienced a lot of up and down, and you've known what up feels like, and you've also known what down feels like. And what does that yield? It makes you a very wise person. And so this is kind of surprising, but what I'm getting some kind of chills too with this, what I'm getting is, this coming year, you really need to decide. I mean, it's up to you, but I would say you really need to decide to not underestimate yourself anymore. Because it's so easy to look at what people have done and who has accomplished and where everyone is at, and so on and so forth. You can survey other humans all day long, and you can be like, well, they did this and then they did that, and then look at them. Like, there's so many examples, and none of it really has anything to do with you. So, but when it comes to your own, it's not even about worth. It's about like value, the way you value yourself. I feel like you're really like, I would say 90% of the Taurus friends that are going to hear this message, your sense of worth is kind of settled. It's strong. Like, you're worthy. It's not a scale. It's like, it's just, okay, I just am, I'm a human. As worthy as humans get, I am that, right? But the value, that's a little bit of a different thing. And so what I'm feeling here very strongly is, it's time to stop undervaluing yourself. Because like I said, you can look at everyone else, and really it has nothing to do with your path. And so in order to truly honor the value that you hold, you need to keep in mind how much currency of life experience you have already acquired. And you need to realize that that's maybe like the most valuable thing. I'm going to tell you why. There's like a very logical, sound reason to it. I'm going to tell you why. Because you can always make more money. Always. And hey, money is beautiful. I love money. Money loves me. We can talk about it for a long time. I work with money energetics, and I've had quite an incredible journey with it. So there, you'll never hear from me that money isn't important or that it's, you know, it has any negative connotations. No, never. I would never say that. However, money is something you can always make more of. It's just true. You can always have less of it. You can get rid of it, but you can always make more of it. It's just facts. You know, it's not a limited currency. It really isn't. You can't really make more time, but you can expand time. Like, let's say for example, I can be very mindlessly living an entire hour of my life, like on my phone, thinking about this, talking about that, reading about that, not reading, just scrolling, not paying attention, just like, you know, being like aloof. And that's part of human experience. Or I can also be spending that hour and I could be like reading one of the most profound texts of my entire life, and I could be like hanging on to every word, and meanwhile, like, I'm having breakthroughs, my entire mindset is changing. I'm like, what is this, right? That's not 2 same hours. That first hour, it's gonna feel like I don't know, 5 minutes. Like, where did that time go? That other hour, it may feel like a lifetime, because it's like, well, everything I've thought, you know, there's this thing now that is like changing everything. Like, holy smoke, like that hour, that second hour that I mentioned, that other hour where like I'm so in the moment and it's so important. You can stretch time is what I mean. So you can always make more money. You can stretch time, but you can't really make more money. But there's something that there's certain knowledge, right? That you can learn it, or you can study it, or you cannot. It doesn't matter. There are certain types of knowledge that only are useful when someone is ready to learn it. Okay. That is like 1 in a million. It's like it's like coming to this door of mysteries and realizing you have the key. You know what I mean? Like, it's like finding a treasure chest in the middle of the desert, and you realize that, you know, your favorite necklace that you always wore is somehow a key to it. Like, it's a miracle. So there are types of knowledge, types of wisdom, types of life experience that someone else can learn, but if they are exposed to it at the right time, just when they need it, it's like having a key to a treasure chest that you just found and you never even thought about it. And now you have the key and you can like even open it. You know what I mean? This is what you have. You have that. And so to a person who needs it in the right time, in the right space, and then poof, you appear, right? That wisdom, that knowledge is like the most valuable thing ever. You can always make more money. You can't make more time. You can stretch it. But there are only certain type of people who have what you have, which is this wisdom, this knowledge, this experiential understanding of life that can change someone's world because they met you, or they had access to you, or they hired you. If you're a mentor, guide, a coach, whatever, maybe you're not even that, but maybe that's something you want to consider, right? When they find you with this perfect knowledge, perfect for them in that moment, and you can give it to them. And it's not about years ago, and it's not about later. It's like now. If I learn this now, I can be living a very different life, and I could be so much happier, right? What is that worth? You tell me. What is that worth? How can you even put a price on it? You can put whatever price on it. Because you know what? That is valuable beyond time. Why? Because it's the right time. And it's valuable beyond money because you can always make more money. But if that money can buy you knowing the right thing at the right time just when it's time, then, I would say a lot of people who truly understand what I'm saying would say, like, I would spend everything I have. Like, it doesn't matter. If it's the right time and if it's the right moment, if it can change my life, like, I don't care. Like, I can always make more money. And, time is time, right? But knowing things in the right moment, that is what you can bring to people, okay? That is what you do bring to people. And so you need to start valuing yourself accordingly. The fact that you're worthy, the value you put on that, you need to reevaluate it, friends, because there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And I would say, if you truly, truly valued it, you would be comfortable with the person who says, you got it, I want it, it's the right time for me. You would be comfortable with them saying, I'll pay you whatever. And if you truly valued yourself, you wouldn't be like, oh, don't worry about it. Or like, oh, it's just, $5. You would be like, really, anything. Okay, here's the price. And there would be no, there would be no spidey feelings, snaky spidey, like, should I do this? Is it really worth it? Is it really valuable? No. It really is valuable. It's like the most valuable thing for the person in the right time, which is like 1 in a million. But you're that one who appears. You are the teacher that when a student is ready, the teacher appears. You are that. You appear, and it's not like your own doing. You don't just kind of like look for that. It's just where you are placed. So, okay, so these are the tarot cards. I'm going to set them aside. I'm going to pull a couple of oracles as well. And then we're going to look at the entire picture. So, the oracles I picked for you guys are angel prayers. So, trust your vibes is the first one. I'm seeing a lot of my friends that I haven't seen in a long time. It's such a pleasure, you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. There will be a replay if you need to jump off or if you're tuning in a little later. So this one, the first one, trust your vibes. Thank you, angels. Today, I choose to trust my intuition and your guidance. I'm going to pull, let's see, 3 more. Let's just do 4 of each. So the inner voice. Okay, that's the inner voice card. Thank you, angels, for guiding me through my inner voice. Honor your beauty. Oh my gosh, this is such a Taurus vibe. Thank you, Jophiel, that's an archangel. Thank you, Jophiel, for helping me discover my inner and outer beauty. Look at this. Ah, perfect. Ooh, and then the final one is the miracle of prayer. This is Archangel Sandalphon. Thank you, Sandalphon, for delivering my prayers to heaven. Okay, so let's take a look at all of these. There is a lot about your relationship with your own spirituality. That is, I'm not getting like it's coming externally or it's because of, of someone else or it's because of some kind of something else. Like it's not really. Okay, here, struggling to find words for this. Let me take a little sip of my water. Maybe that will help. So, this is not about what your beliefs are. Let me put it this way. It's not about what your beliefs are. It's not about whether or not you belong to a belief system. Right? Or you identify with a certain system of beliefs, or it doesn't matter, is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter in the context of this message. That's not the focus. The focus is your personal relationship with the divine, whether you want to call it God, whether you want to call it the divine, whether you want to call it universal intelligence, whether you want to call it one unified field of consciousness, like whatever you want to call it, whatever your beliefs are. 2024, it's about your relationship with that divinity. And it's not really a relationship where you're talking to something that's external. It's not like a conversation with something out there. Not really. It's a continuous relationship dynamic of something that, yes, is also out there and everywhere. But the most important access point is that it's within yourself. Like the divinity within you, the divinity everywhere else. But your relationship with it, the meeting point, the touch point, is that same divinity, it has also created you. And it is part of you. It is alive in you. And that's the reason you are alive, right? So it's about your relationship with that divinity that you have in you. Now, you guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not one to believe that we are God. I don't really, I mean, that's not really my approach. I don't believe that we are God in human form. I think that we are human for a reason. I think it's a wealth of growth and knowledge and wisdom and just, the gift of having a body, having senses, being able to experience pleasure and pain, being able to feel what it's like to breathe, right? Being able to make love, being able to just feel the butterflies when you have a crush on someone, being able to put this beautiful, luxurious, gorgeous, your favorite dress on and not just look good, right? But like feel how it feels on your body. It's treasure. This human experience is a treasure. Okay, so I'm not saying you are God, but I'm saying the way that I see it is the divinity that creates everything also has created you, but it didn't just create you and leave. It's part of you. How could it not be? So it's about your relationship with divinity through yourself. Okay, that is one, which is where, trust your vibes, your inner voice, your intuition. There is another piece here that I find quite interesting. I'm taking a little pause here because it's like, how do I phrase it? It's actually less about looking for things through others. So I'll share this. There's this like a channeling stream that comes out every month that I'm not gonna name. It's just it's kind of specific to my spiritual lineage. Kind of irrelevant what it is, but I've been watching it for years, and it comes out like once a month. I've been watching it for years. It's always resonated, and recently when I tapped in, it was like it just didn't resonate anymore. Nothing has really changed. It's the same energy, but I felt kind of disappointed, almost like upset. I'm like, well, I really enjoyed this. Like I've been kind of looking forward to this every month, to be honest with you, but it was just like a no. And so I was a little surprised and a little annoyed. I'll just say it this way. And what came through was like, you have to be direct. Like you can't be waiting for the stream every month. You can just like directly connect to this energy that this person on the stream is channeling. You can just like any time, any day, any time, whatever you're doing, whatever you're feeling, like it's always there for you. So we're removing this stream from you so that you're not waiting for it to come out every month, so that you get more used to like just tapping into this energy directly yourself. And so this is a good example because of what I'm trying to convey here with the message for you, my Taurus friends, is you may have like a similar experience with some of the things. Maybe some of and you know what, this may not just be spiritual. It may also be like concerning your business, your personal development, whatever it is, where you've been really looking forward to your favorite guru or your favorite teacher or your favorite, someone, an opinion leader, a thought leader, right? You've been really like looking forward to hearing from them. What do they have to say? What are they doing? What is it about? You've been inspired by them. You've learned from them. It's been wonderful. But all of a sudden, like it kind of starts getting removed, where all of a sudden you're like, why do I not resonate with this anymore? Like nothing really has changed. They're like, I still love whatever that is, but like, why is it not the same? And I think what you're going to discover is it's going to be like, well, because you need to lean on yourself now. Even in business, it's like there comes a time where you can learn a lot of different strategies, and it's perfect, it's helpful, it's useful, especially when you feel like it's the right time to learn. But when you just get in the habit of learning, sometimes you realize like, well, why am I doing these things? Only because this person is doing it that way? Like, what would be my way though? Like, have I even tried that? It might even be a lot better. Like, who knows, Or, even when it comes to personal development, like I've been one to read books constantly, and I rarely read fiction. I love reading personal development stuff. And, I've been like obsessed about it for years, manifestation, self-help, everything, philosophy, psychology, like you name it. I've read it probably or started. And recently there has been like a shift where it's like, I don't want to hear any of this anymore for the time being. And so sometimes it comes to a point where it's like, what do I feel I should do? Like, if I didn't listen to anyone else, what would I do myself? Like, what would I work on myself? What would I try? What routine would I try on? What new practice would I attempt, right? What are some of the practices that I've done before that have worked that I may want to revisit? It's almost like letting yourself be your own teacher, letting yourself be your own guru, letting yourself be your own guide. And this isn't a message about not having support, because you do need support. I do feel that strong. It's not that you need it. It's like, it's very good for you to have a lot of support, because it allows you to, how do I say this? To what's coming up, touch more lives. When you're very supported, you touch more lives in a more meaningful way, whatever it is that you do. You have more to give when you're supported. So being supported is very good for you. But needing someone else's input into spirituality, business, personal development, whatever it is, health even, right? That's kind of fading into the background. It's like, it's time you lean on your own wisdom. It's time you lead yourself. It's time you teach yourself. It's time you coach yourself, in a sense. Like, it's time for you to trust your own leadership. And that can be scary, because it's like, well, maybe I'd rather do this thing that this girl is teaching and doing because she's doing it and I can learn from her, and we'll see if it works for me or not. But what about like, no one's teaching it, no one's doing it, you know it, you haven't tried it? How scary is that, to be like, okay, no one's doing it, no one's teaching it, I have the idea, I'm just gonna go with it. That takes some audacity. It takes major self-trust. It's like, because your inner mind may start a debate like, well, who do I think I am? And that goes back to that value. You cannot be undervaluing yourself anymore, because then you say, yeah, you know what? I know who I am. I'm someone who can bring tremendous value to this world, and does. And so, yeah, I can trust my own leadership. And you know what? If it doesn't go through the way that I imagine it, my leadership will show me a different path. Like, I trust myself no matter what. Very important for 2024 for Taurus. And then, you know, there's this honor your beauty, which is so perfect for this beautiful sign of Taurus, because you are beauty. And, you know, your taste for finer things, whatever they are, whether it's art or architecture or fashion or, I don't know, whatever it is for you. You know, it actually heals the world more than you realize. And I'm not gonna wander too far, as I sometimes do, but I have to say this. The feminine energy has been very restricted on planet Earth for a long time. And we're not getting into a blame game or why or who did what. That's irrelevant. It's just historical facts. The feminine energy has been somewhat suppressed and even kind of externalized into something that's evil, or not evil, but maybe sinful or not so important, you know, unnecessary, superfluous. Okay, that's a rare word. Wonder where that came from, but yeah, it's a good one. That's exactly it. So, you know, things like connecting with your own beauty and admiring it has been called vanity. But is it really vanity when you're admiring the creation of the same divinity that created everything else? Can you really call something vanity when it's admiring that very creative spark that creates worlds, right? Sensuality has also been kind of perceived as something lower or sinful, right? But sensuality is essentially one of the most precious gifts of being in human form, of having a body. So connecting with sensuality, connecting with your beauty, connecting with pleasure, connecting with your physicality, you know, exploring the beauty of the world around you, the beauty of yourself, and embodying that beauty for others to not just admire, but to see their reflection in. You know, you guys, I have to, this is quite a consideration that I really want to give you to play with. You know, when you see someone on the street and they're just so beautiful, you have to give them a compliment, because you're like, oh my God, you're just gorgeous. The fact that you can acknowledge it, the fact that you can perceive it, the fact that you recognize it, means you are the beholder of beauty, because beauty is only in the eye of the beholder, the old saying, right? But the fact that you see it and you acknowledge it and you appreciate it, you recognize it, and you even compliment it, means you are the beholder of it. That person is it in that moment, but you're the one who sees it. And the fact that you see it means that the beauty that you see reflects you. That's why you recognize it. So when you embody this virtue that is beauty, when you value it, when you behold it, when you seek it out, when you appreciate it and admire it and connect with it, even in yourself, and someone walks by and stops and says, wow. And you know what, you guys, I'll be even more detailed here. It rarely has to do with looks. It rarely has to do with what modern social media, you know, it sees as these like standards, right? Or what's enough, what's popular, what's hot. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this superficial like contest of, you know, some things that are in or out. It has nothing to do with that. When you embody beauty, when you cultivate beauty, it's a vibration. And so when someone walks by and says, gosh, it's something about you, I can't look away. Guess who it serves? That person that said it. Because you were a mirror to something that resonated for them as truth within themselves, and they couldn't look away. And so what they saw in you, they are. And you helped bring it out just by being. Don't undervalue this connection between the sign of Taurus and beauty. It is part of the feminine. It is part of human nature. It is part of this earth, our beautiful Mother Earth. That is the connection, right? And so don't downplay it. It's not vain. It's not profane. It's not silly. It's not empty. It's very important. And it's a virtue that has been kind of bastardized by, like I said, this fake, vain, whatever competition of, who has more plastic surgeries. Like, no judgment, by the way, towards plastic surgeries or any kind of choices that people make. That's not what we're talking about. But that's not what I mean. That beauty that you see in art, that you see in humanity, that you see in expression, that you see in nature, right? That you behold even in yourself. That's a very, very, very high vibrational virtue. And it can be more healing than a lot of things that we could ever do. Just connecting with this virtue, embodying it, beholding it, valuing it, and bringing it out more in our world. That is one of the most healing things that you have unique gift to do. So beauty is going to be a very big aspect of 2024 for you if you let it. But it's such an incredible teacher. Very, very powerful realm of energetics is this virtue of beauty. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of different areas where it shows up for you, and it's going to tickle your senses, and it's going to be like, could I just live in this? Could I just dissolve into this? Could I just breathe it? Like, can this just, do you know when you look at a piece of art where you're like, can I just go into that world and stay there? You're going to have a lot of experiences like that in 2024. And you know what? If you'll let them, if you don't just say, oh, well, yeah, I know I connect to beauty and, it's all really nice for me, but no one gets it. No one sees art. Everyone's fake and vain nowadays, blah, blah. If you like dismiss it, if you don't go fully into it, it's just going to be what it is. Just an experience. But if you take it and you say, how I embody this, how do I embody this? How do I bring this to others? How do I let this be the world's medicine through me? Now that's going to take you on a very profound journey. So you guys, we are once again running over an hour. And I still have a couple more cards to pull. So we are going into the final deck of tonight. And then we're just going to briefly look at all the messages once again and tie it all together. So these cards are finding inner peace. So this is a little bit of like personal practices for you in your 2024. Okay. So let's see. Number 1, we have softening my heart. I'm no longer willing to let bad experiences take over my heart. It's time to let go of negativity. Let's see the second one. Ooh. Opening my mind. I open my mind to the love, wisdom, and guidance of the universe, and I will learn to trust again. A lot of self-trust. Self-trust. Okay. The next one. Change is good. I'm strong enough to give up bad habits. Change is for good, and I have this. I got this. Okay. And then the final one is energy protection. I have the power to protect my energy and maintain a positive attitude. No one can destroy my inner peace. I love these. Okay, so let's just kind of take a moment to feel into it. You know, there is this call to, yeah, I just want to get a little more specific. Michelle, I'm so glad. I don't remember the last time I saw you on my reading. I don't remember the last time I did the reading other than when I started these series yesterday, to be honest. It's been a while. But I'm so happy that you're here. Yeah, so, okay, so the first one, the softening the heart. Okay, I'm just gonna, I really love the imagery here. But you know, here's the thing with the negativity, right? Our mind likes to solve things. Sometimes the things it cannot solve, it likes to obsess with the most, right? So you can't solve negativity. Like, you can't figure out why people do bad things. You can't figure out why bad things are allowed to happen on this planet. You can't reconcile why there is a great deal of unfairness, which is true. You can't comprehend all the laws of nature, and you don't even make the sun rise or the moon grow full or the earth to spin. Like, you don't do any of that. And it's not for you to worry about. You don't even have to tell yourself, breathe in, breathe out all day long, every day, all the time, because it's just your body just does it, right? So when the mind gets entangled in these things that, yes, are there and yes, can be very disturbing, it can zap your energy, because it's like, well, here's this evil that is obvious, and here am I having a problem with it, and I would just like to know why it's happening. And so you start entangling with it, and there is no answer. But it's like, but why is it? Why is it so unfair? But how is it this and that? And why is the world like that? And so you just get, this is what happens. It shuts down our heart. It's like, well, if things are this bad, then I don't really want to connect with all of this, you know? Like after a bad breakup, you know, it's like, I don't ever want to be in love again. Have you ever felt that? I know I have, right? But it's like, it's that same thing. Well, if things are that bad, then I don't want to care. You know, if someone can break my heart, then I don't want to love again. Like, we mentally come up with this, like, well, there's no answer. So my response is going to be like, I'm out, you know, but it's a mental thing. Okay. The heart works a little differently. When you see something that is bad, terrible, when you see suffering, when you witness suffering, to approach it with an open heart is not to try to figure out why it happened, because what's that really gonna do? To approach it with an open heart is to, no matter how painful and uncomfortable it is to even witness it, is to have compassion and to be able to give of yourself to those who are suffering. That actually does help. That actually does help. To approach, let's use that example of a bad breakup, to approach yourself with an open heart is to have this response of like, this is terrible, I'm messed up, and you know, I'm gonna need time to heal. And when your mind says, yeah, but I don't ever want to love again, to approach it with an open heart is to say, I know that's how I feel now, but I have hope that I'm going to heal one day. Do you see the difference? Because the mind is to figure out why, or figure out what can I do about it? And neither one is like really brings up anything, right? But to approach it with an open heart is not to go into the mind, but instead to open, to lean into it, which is so painful, you guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, just open your heart, you know? It's the most difficult thing to do. It's the most painful, because when you see something that makes your heart go like this, like, I don't want to be part of this world anymore, you know? To open and lean in is like the most counterintuitive thing. It's like, why would I do that? That's scary. Like, I want to protect myself. But by protecting ourselves, we actually often close up. And the more we get into the mind, the more it just feels like there is just no end. There's no solution. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. Like, what is this all for? Because the heart is not involved in it. And through the heart, such wisdom becomes available that the mind cannot even comprehend. Where the world may be in absolute terror and there may be so much suffering around, and yet you lean in and you open your heart, and maybe you can only just touch one person. But in the moment that you do, and in the moment that you share, maybe there is love in that moment. Maybe you feel it and they feel it, and maybe just that alone is a miracle. Well, everything else is terrible. There is just a spark. And you know what? Just a spark is infinitely more than just thinking about it. So opening the heart is a bitter medicine, but it is so needed in this world. And Taurus, you are perfectly equipped for this because you have so much love. So no matter how painful it is, no matter how scary it is, don't shut it down. Don't shut your heart down. Don't get into thinking and figuring out why and where and how. It doesn't matter. Lean in. Okay. So the next one we had is opening your mind. So opening your heart, opening your mind. This goes back to the messages about the mentors, the gurus, the leaders, opinion leaders, you know, the whoever is on top and whoever everyone else is listening to, right? And instead going like, okay, you know what? It no longer resonates. I'm just going to set it aside. I'm just going to lead myself. I'm going to trust my own leadership. Whatever comes through, even if no one else is doing it, even if I have never done it, I'm just going to go with it. I think it's because I raised, did I do this? And then it appeared on the screen. That is so interesting. I've seen that happen on Zoom as well. That's funny, you guys. I have no idea what's going on, but there's some bubbles that just appeared on the screen. Happened yesterday as well. So, yeah, trusting your own channel, trusting your own intuition, allowing yourself to go with ideas that no one else is pursuing, not looking for that validation, that sneaky validation of like, okay, that's an interesting idea. Let me see if anyone else is doing it. Let me see if anyone else is doing it and how they're doing it. And then I'll decide if I'll do it and how I'll do it. No. Here's an idea. I had it and I'm just going to do it. And we'll see what happens. So take your own authority above all else. Okay, the next one was change is good. I'm strong enough to give up bad habits. You know, I think this is this goes back to focusing more on filling your own cup, especially as the year kind of dawns, right? Focusing more on filling your cup, taking care of your needs. I think some things will naturally fall off. I don't really see you needing to work on like bad habits. I just think that the more you focus on your well-being overall, some things are just going to vibrate out. It's like, well, I've been eating this thing every day or every now and then, and now I don't even like the taste for some reason. Or, you know, I've been, you know, sitting around watching this for a while, you know, when I get time, but now like I don't even like the thing, and I don't even want to sit around. Like, I just want to move, right? So it's not something you have to like really change. It's something that's, the change will occur on its own. It's your focus on your overall well-being that's going to propel it. The final one, energy protection. And this is going to come from valuing yourself, okay? Because when you don't really value yourself, your value is defined by validation. I know this from personal experience. So when you really don't value yourself, your value's defined by like, did they approve? Did they like it? Did they do this? Did they say that? Did they react, to respond the way that I wanted them to? And then it's like, because you don't really have that internal sense of value. So it's like, or you're not cultivating it, or you're not holding it, right? So then it's like, well, I think it's kind of valuable. Is it? Did they tell me they liked it? Because if they did, then it's valuable. But if they didn't, maybe it wasn't so valuable. So there's like a lot of like uncertainty. It's like, is it valuable? Is it not? Did I say it right? Did I not? Like there's a lot of back and forth, and there's a lot of room for someone to come in and just be like, I hate you. and you know, because there is no boundary there, it's like, oh my God, I don't ever want to do this thing again. Oh gosh, you know, what did I do wrong? So you expose yourself to energy attack that may be unintentional. Maybe someone's just bored, which happens online, or maybe someone is intentional. Maybe they just don't like you and they're like, let me bring this girl down a notch, right? People do all kinds of things. Humanity is truly unmatched in how differently we express it as individuals, right? So your energy protection is your value, your sense of value, and you have to set it yourself. It has to be unshakable. Okay, so we're going to look at all of these, you guys. We've had, I just want you to see the images kind of again. We had the tarot cards with the new horizons, filling your own cup, okay, focusing on you, restoration, relaxation, taking care of your needs, making sure your cup overflows, because what comes next is this vision that you will need to consent, agree, decide on, because it's coming through you. You may not, but if you do, the resources, the support, and everything else will just fall into place. You don't even have to do anything. It will just be done through you. Major, too, major. This is like the legacy. This is like the legacy of humanity, the legacy of you being human. And then the temperance, which is valuing yourself, because you've lived a lot of life. And that wisdom is more valuable than time and money combined, because it doesn't matter how much it costs, but if someone can have that in the right time, that can change their whole life. So it's priceless, but you get to charge whatever you want for it, really, because, and it's going to be effortless, but you have to first realize just how valuable your value is and hold it. Okay, then we had the trust your vibes, okay? Trust your inner voice, honor your beauty, and the miracle of prayer, your direct connection with divine, not through anyone else, just you. You are part of it, okay? You're trusting yourself, you're trusting your own intuition, you are embodying beauty and being the beholder of beauty and cultivating it, and letting it be the medicine that the world needs. And then we had softening my heart, opening my mind, change is good, and energy protection. So this is the reading for my gorgeous Taurus friends. I, as promised, will take a couple moments here as we wrap up to talk a little bit about Taroscope 2024. It is an investment, you guys. It's not cheap. I didn't design it to be cheap. I don't want it to be cheap, because this takes a lot of energy on my end. And it's also an investment that for the person that it's for, like, I want it to feel like an investment, because it is. And it's a commitment. It's not, you know, one and done. It's an entire year with me as your psychic advisor. Okay, so let me explain a little bit of the structure. Okay, so this is the start of 2024. We spend an entire day together. This isn't like in person, but it is an entire day together. So we have several calls throughout that day, and we're continuously communicating through whatever messenger of your choice, text, whatever works best for you. And this is a dedication on your part as well as mine. So we spend an entire day together putting in motion your 2024. There's going to be a lot that happens in that day. So we are going to be using a variety of divination tools. And in this format, you're going to be doing some of that divination with me, and I will help you, guide you, support you, whatever you need. But we're going to be using these different tools to communicate with the divine wisdom that is available, okay? I have a lot of tools on my end. We will find some for you that resonate with you, that feel fun for you. So this is active on your end as well. This is you using your own intuitive gifts in a supportive environment and seeing what comes through for you and how that feels, like how that feels when you are receiving this kind of guidance directly through yourself. And then, of course, I'm going to be conducting readings on my end for you as well, which is a huge focus. I'm going to be using tarot, which is my leading modality. These are the cards we started tonight's reading with. We're going to be using oracles as well. I have a wide range of oracles, and there are so many divination methods. It would take me a few hours to just go over them. So we're going to be using other divination methods as well that are not cards. And that will be kind of like a piece of the puzzle where we're just feeling into what's available, what's coming through, what are some of the things that are top priority in terms of what you're interested in, what you want to bring into your life in the next year. Like, how do we prioritize them with this intuitive guidance? We're going to spend a significant portion of our day together also doing shamanic healing work on you. I am trained in several shamanic practices when it comes to shamanic healing. I keep saying the word shamanic because it's a very important aspect. It's beyond psychic work. When I say shamanic is I bring a lot of things through my body as a shaman. And so when I say shamanic healing, I am using my body basically as a tool to process some energies that you are ready to release. It's a very intimate experience. It's very powerful, it's profound, but it allows us to collapse time and release the things that you already are ready to let go of. So it's a safe process, and it can feel like something of a miracle, but it's not. And so we will spend a significant portion of our day together just clearing the slate and releasing things that you no longer want to carry, cutting the cords that you no longer want attached to you so that you can enter the next year with this freedom, this wholeness, this wellness, okay, that is not burdened by anything that doesn't belong. I'm quite good at it. I love to toot my own horn, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not really shy, but this is something I was born to do. And this is why I continuously work with ayahuasca. That's kind of my preference. But because this is shamanic work. And the more I do this work on my own end, the better I become equipped to serve others. I've had many experiences serving others in this capacity. And I say with confidence that I guarantee that it's a safe process and that it's also a very effective process, okay? We're going to spend also another portion of our day together in where I'm going to channel for you. So something a good way that I describe my channeling that has come from my clients that have said to me these words is that when I channel, I have this capacity to tap into the messages that are there for you. They're not mine. I don't necessarily know them. Like, they're not something I make up. You know what I mean? I tap into what's there for you And what I'm able to do really well is to translate them into a language that is specific to you, okay? That allows you to receive these messages in a way that doesn't bypass your conscious mind. You know how sometimes you hear something profound and you can't remember it because it like just went over your head. You're like, oh, there's something there, can't put my finger on it. And then you don't remember what it even was. That's not gonna happen, okay? The way that I translate the channeling, this is why one-on-one work is my best work, because I can do my best to translate the messages into the language of Taurus, as I did tonight, right? But it's still pretty general. It's like Taurus. There's many individuals, right? That is specific to that zodiac energy, that is specific to that astral energy that manifests on this planet, right? But when I'm working with you one-on-one, it is just your energy, okay? It is just your consciousness. So when I'm translating this channeled information for you specifically, I have the ability, and not just an ability, but something I've been mastering for years at this point, to translate the messages to you into a language that you can hear, you can understand consciously, and you can experience on this subconscious level, which is this experiential level. It's where all of our beliefs are stored. It's where all of our human experiences are stored. It's where wisdom that we haven't even maybe tapped into is stored. They say this is where our connection with the divine dwells. This is where the dreams come from. You know, where do the dreams come from? Why are they the way they are? There's no explaining it. It's just a vast universe of consciousness that is not quite at the tip of the finger. So I work with all the levels of your consciousness. And the way that I channel for you, it's clarity, it's knowing, it's understanding, and it's actionable. It's not just some concepts from out there that is like, what is it that even, right? It's like, it's actionable for you. It's helpful for you. It's meant for you, and it's the right time for you. And it makes perfect sense for you. This is the work that I stand for. This is what my clients tell me. This is what I know about myself. And this is what I would love to offer to you. So 3 components, really: the divination side, where you get to also use your own intuitive abilities, with healing work, shamanic healing work, and then the channeling, where you are receiving. You are receiving, I'm receiving for you. We're both receiving, but I'm also translating. And that's one of the most powerful skills that I have. So this is just like half of it, okay? That day that we spent together. Then for the rest of 2024, I am conducting readings for you every moon cycle. There are 13 total. So it's not every month, it's every moon cycle, okay? And we get to discuss it. It's not just like I send you some cards and boom, there you have it. It's like we get to discuss it. We get to tap in. There is a day that we select that you're going to get your reading, and we're going to have a little bit of an exchange. And you get to ask questions. You get to get more specifications, or you, if that feels good to you on a given moon cycle, you can kind of set the theme. You know, maybe it's been a little general before, and now you're like, let's look specifically at, let's say my business, or let's look at my relationships, right? So we can get, it's tailored, okay? We get to discuss it. You get to receive laser coaching from me every one of the 13 moon cycles of 2024. And so we spend an entire year together. We spend a whole day together, and then we spend a whole year together. And the gift of it all is that you get to live it, but you get to live it supported, and not supported in every sense, but supported in this psychic sense that I would love to serve you with. So it's an investment, you guys. It's $1,999 currently. Okay, it's the price is going up to $2,400 on January 1st. Okay, when does this day happen? It happens beginning of January. I want the year to start so that we're in the energy of it, and then we're working with that energy. So January, whenever you want, you get to choose that day. We get to set it in motion, and then our year together begins from there. A couple questions. Is it like private coaching? Yes, it's exactly like private coaching. How is it different? It's not so much about having a call once in a while and getting a lot of it out, like getting through a lot of stuff, right? It's more like an ongoing relationship that we have throughout the year. So it's a flow. There is a theme. We spend this day together. We set it all in motion. We create this blueprint for 2024 for you through all this work, right? And then as you're living this year, I am supporting you in this continued matter. But there is no like, we got to do it then and we got to wrap up by then. There is no pressure. It is an ongoing flow. So that's, I would say that's the main difference between the private coaching that I do that is like calls specific, calls only. And this is a little different because it's more of a flow and it's more of a support as you are carrying out this vision that you have for the year to come. And I'm there in a role of your psychic advisor. And then when you do need coaching, this is when we tap in, and there's some opportunities for laser coaching every moon cycle where it's like, okay, here are a couple issues that came up. Can we look at that, right? So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and ask. The link is in either the description or somewhere on the screen. Okay, and basically this is it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for taking in this reading. I am so honored, so pleased, and so grateful to have these gifts, to have had the courage and the wisdom and the patience to develop them for as long as I have been, to choose this path, even though easier paths appeared to have been available as well. And I'm very, very, very privileged to have the platform and to have the connections that I do with you in order to share these gifts. So thank you. I love you. Happy holidays, happy new year, and I hope to see you soon. Mwah. Bye.